feel like the Afghanis that supported us is probably the biggest tragedy.
I have a Taliban visa in my passport right now. I've been back a few times since the fall. No one, it's us and one other group is able to go back and forth, and we're friends. Um, when you go to U.S. Embassy Kabul, before you publish this thing, I'll put the pictures up so you can insert it here. There are Taliban flags, like giant murals, 20 feet murals on U.S. Embassy Kabul, and around it, around the whole perimeter, around the whole blast wall, around the whole perimeter, is Taliban propaganda that basically says, "Dear America, we kicked your ass," with American flags being pushed down by the hands of the people of Afghanistan and stuff. So 20 years later, 20 years of war, to see the Taliban literally, hosting dinner parties in the U.S. Embassy in Kabul with propaganda around it, forgetting about all the other things, what that means, how that feels, setting that all aside from a terrorist recruiting perspective, they are able to say with confidence, they won and we lost. So if you're some poor kid on a playground somewhere and you're trying to maintain your moral compass, you know that doing things are bad. Or your father taught you well, right? And a bad guy recruiter comes up to you and says, obviously, if you believe in God, you'll be with us. And I can prove it to you because we beat the Soviet Union and we beat the United States of America. Clearly, God is on our side. Therefore, what I say is the truth, and therefore you should do what I say, and therefore you should strap a suicide vest to yourself. And that is not a far walk. That is not a far walk at all. And the reality is, factually, it's true. If you go by
Yeah, I
facts.
mean,
So,
yeah, it's like you type in what war have we won in the past 20, 30 years into Grok, ChatGPT, or a couple other AIs, and it'll say that we won them. However, maybe long term, and I'm like, what? What? And like you're just described to me a decisive victory for the Taliban, and
well,
they're still there.
and what's crazy is anchored to Al Qaeda's biggest victory. So that's so stupid to me. That's the thing,
Yeah,
right? They're able to say, they're able to they're literally able to say on the anniversary what they in Al Qaeda they call 9/11 is called the Great Victory, right? Is what they call it, the Great Victory, right? We're called the Great Satan, so it's a great
right.
victory against the Great Satan. They're able to say, right, on the anniversary of the Great Victory against the Great Satan, we beat the Great Satan. And that's our timeline.
Yeah,
That was our timeline. That's so silly to me.
yeah,
We talk about, domestically like January 6th and all that other stuff. Imagine if January 6th was on July 4th, a dark day in American
right,
history, July 4th. Ugh, that doesn't sound right. Like that,
right.
anchoring bad things to good things or vice versa, you need to be sensitive about. So again, that timeline was our timeline. And they're like, you idiots.